People say the city of Varuna becomes a different place during a blackout. Streetlights flicker like dying fireflies, shadows stretch longer than they should, and sometimes, just sometimes, you hear footsteps behind you even when you're the only one on the road. This story happened to me during one such blackout. And even today, when the electricity goes off, I still feel the same cold breath on the back of my neck. It happened 2 years ago, in the small coastal city of Varuna, where humid winds always carried the scent of the sea. Our final board exams were approaching, and every student in St. Aurelia High was drowning in textbooks and tension. Normally, the school study hall closed by 6 p.m. sharp. But since exams were near, our principal announced that it would stay open until midnight. Students were relieved, teachers were annoyed, and parents thought it was brilliant. My house was barely a 15-minute walk away. Studying at home meant distractions, TV noise, family chatter, and my younger cousins constantly wanting attention. So I chose the quiet sanctuary of the study hall instead. That evening, I left home around 6:30. By the time I walked through the iron gates of the school, my mind was already buried in equations and essays. Hours passed, the ceiling fans hummed softly, and I was deep in my notes when I looked up at the clock. 10:12 p.m. I had never stayed that late. Usually, by 8 p.m., there were at least a few students left, some yawning, some half asleep on their books. But tonight, I was completely alone. I had just 10 minutes of work left, just 10 more minutes, and I could go home. Soft, eerie music, that's when I heard it. A dragging sound, like someone scraping their shoe against the floor, or limping. At first, I dismissed it. Old buildings make strange noises, I told myself. But then I heard it again, closer this time. I grabbed my books and practically rushed out of the study hall. The corridor outside was long, dim, and unusually cold. At the far end, if you turn left, you'd find the school's exit gate. I walked quickly, trying not to look behind me. But when I was just a few steps away from the turn, I froze. A figure stood at the end of the corridor. A woman. She wasn't a teacher, I knew that instantly. Even from a distance, something felt wrong. Her silhouette was hunched, her shoulders stiff, her head tilted unnaturally to one side. My throat tightened. "Who's there?" I called out. But the moment my voice echoed, the figure disappeared. Not walked away, not slipped into a classroom. Just vanished. I exhaled shakily and hurried out of the building. Outside, Varuna's streets were pitch dark. The entire neighborhood had lost power, which wasn't unusual. Blackouts happen often during the summer, but the silence felt wrong. No vehicles, no people, no sound except my own breath. I kept my eyes on the ground as I walked, too afraid to look anywhere else. I was only 2 blocks from home when I noticed a shadow on the road, long and moving toward me, but there was no one ahead of me. Cold spread down my spine as I slowly lifted my head. A woman was walking a few meters in front of me. She moved slowly, painfully, limping just like the sound I'd heard in the study hall. I caught up to her within moments. That's when I really saw her. She was wearing torn, damp clothes like she had walked through a storm. Her hair was tangled, almost covering her face. And her hands. Her hands were bent at angles no human joints could naturally bend. I stopped breathing. I wanted to run. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't move. She turned her head slowly until her milky white eyes met mine. Her lips twisted into something that resembled a smile but held no warmth. "Have you seen my son?" Her voice was thin, cracked, as if it had traveled through decades of sorrow. I couldn't speak. I couldn't think. She stepped closer. "Have you seen him?" she repeated. My body shook uncontrollably. Unable to speak, I pointed toward a distant alley far behind her. She stared for a long, terrifying moment, and then she limped toward the direction I had pointed. Away from me. Away from the road. Away from the living world. When she vanished into the darkness, I bolted. I ran with everything inside me. But before I could reach the safety of my neighborhood, I heard it. A scream. Long, broken, echoing across the blackout-covered city. "He's here." After that, everything went black. When I regained consciousness, I was in my own living room. My neighbor, Mr. Fernandez, had found me collapsed on the street and carried me home. He told me something else, to something I have never been able to forget. In 2001, during a massive storm, a woman named Mira lost her 11-year-old son. He had been a student at St. Aurelia High. He never came home. They searched for him for days in the flooded streets, but his body was never found. Mira couldn't accept it. She wandered the school grounds every night for months, until one night, she disappeared too. Locals say her spirit still roams during blackouts, searching for her lost child and calling out when she thinks she's found him. Every time the power goes out in Varuna, I shut every window, lock every door, and pray I don't hear her dragging footsteps again, because I know she's still out there, still searching. And the worst part? She thinks I'm him.